What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Rich, back to bring you another video for Thursday Night Football. We have the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals today. Should be a pretty good game. You know, we've been seeing some stingers on Thursday Night Football. We hope Chiefs-Chargers would be a great one. It was fine. Of course, Justin Herbert got hurt, so that kind of sucked at the end of it. But today we do have Joe Burrow versus Tua Tagovailoa, a big matchup between two quarterbacks that have been playing pretty well, maybe in the case of Tua, and not so well in the case of Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Bengals are favored in this one, 3.5 or 4 points, 4.5, depending on where you're looking at the time. And of course, we know Miami was dealing with some issues with the hurricane, but now they are in Cincinnati, so no weather concerns for the game, but maybe some concerns as far as their preparation is concerned. At the end of the day, though, Miami has still covered spreads all 3 weeks. They are obviously 3-0, while the Bengals have struggled to even get wins. You know, they obviously beat the Jets, but lost to the Dallas Cowboys on the road and the Pittsburgh Steelers, only covering 1 and 2 in those spreads. So if you're picking the game, you're picking the spread. I do like the Dolphins to cover. It's a close game. We'll see how much this hurricane and the preparations ultimately affect the game. But, you know, the Cincinnati Bengals are at home. They're wearing the new white helmets. The crowd should be pumped. It should be a good game. I'm excited for it. But let's talk more about the props and the game script overall. I'm looking right now at Ja'Marr Chase over 5.5 receptions. Now, you're probably asking me, why am I going after this number? Where's the case to be made here? I think you look at what happened to the Cincinnati Bengals for the first 3 weeks. Joe Burrow's been getting blitzed like crazy. You see in the first 2 games, he's been sacked 7 times and 6 times when he's faced really good defenses in Dallas and Pittsburgh. You saw, obviously, the 4 interception game, 5 turnover game against Pittsburgh. There's just a lot of concerns with this offensive line. As much as we love what they did to bring in pieces to bolster the offensive line, it hasn't come together yet. And if you saw last game how much Miami blitzed Josh Allen, of all quarterbacks, they decide we're going to blitz Josh Allen, and it worked. Josh Allen was dumping it off to running backs. He had to get the ball out quick, and when they didn't blitz him, they played well in coverage and were able to limit the damage. Josh Allen dropped back over 60 times last game, so there could be a ton of volume here for Joe Burrow. But again, you think about who are the guys he's going to go to. His number 1 yak target, probably one of the top ones in the league, on top of being the number 1 on Cincinnati, it's Ja'Marr Chase. If you're going to get the ball out quick, get it to a guy who can get yards after the catch, it's going to be Ja'Marr Chase. So I like the over his 5.5 receptions. The best number right now is on FanDuel. And I think you could pair that with a few other props to kind of get you a game script that I think will be successful in this matchup. Another one I do like is Joe Mixon over 21.5 receiving yards, and it's of the exact same narrative. Devin Singletary was one of the leading receivers for the Buffalo Bills. He caught like 8 passes in the last matchup because Josh Allen kept dumping it off to him. They kept playing coverage. They kept making sure that Josh Allen couldn't hit the big play, and that lended itself to a lot of dump offs, a lot of short passes. Isaiah McKenzie, Devin Singletary, the 2 leading receivers for the Buffalo Bills in that matchup. Now, I'm not going all the way to Tyler Boyd quite yet, because I think that Joe Burrow will still force the ball down the field or check it down to Ja'Marr Chase in shorter areas, but I do believe that Joe Mixon will be heavily involved. I did want to look at Samaje Perine as well, but the books aren't quite giving me that number. I think that he will be involved as well, but unfortunately, no lines for Perine, but I do like Mixon over 21.5. And then the other one I'm looking at is Joe Burrow over 10.5 rushing yards. Now, last week, he didn't go over this number, but again, in close games where he's facing a legitimate pass rush that can get to the quarterback, he went over 24 in both of those matchups. So he had 26 rushing yards against the Cowboys and 47 rushing yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, we talk about Joe Burrow and the injury to his knee. He's back now. He's actually running the ball. He's been under a ton of duress. He's moving in the pocket, and he's a guy that is able to scramble and get yardage. And I think against Miami, he's going to have to do that. Yes, of course, there's always a possibility that he makes mistakes, but this isn't college. It's the NFL. Once you pass the line of scrimmage, you are gaining yards and you're not taking yards for sacks. So I do really like Joe Burrow over 18.5 rushing yards. I think you think about how much Miami will probably blitz him, especially with how much they've struggled so far against the blitz. Joe Burrow's going to be running for his life back there. I think he's going to scramble for some yards, and I really like the pairing of these 3 plays all together to take overs, because I think that's kind of how the game's going to play out. May he hit a bomb to T. Higgins or to Tyler Boyd on a broken play like he has in the past? Of course, but I think this is a game script of how they're going to have to play. It's going to have to get out quick because Miami blitzes, and they've been known to blitz quite a bit. It's going to be problems for Joe Burrow in that offensive line. They're still going to run the ball with Joe Mixon plenty, but we'll see about whether or not he can go over. But I do like the Mixon over. I like the Jamar Chase reception over. We have him projected for 6.5. I think Mixon's over-under right now is 21.5. We have him projected for 36. And then for Joe Burrow, again, the history just says he's going to have to run and has ran in the past so far early in this season. So I do like that number as well. If we're looking at the Miami side, it's really tough, right? Because, there's Tua with the head injury, and is he going to play? I kind of assume he's going to play. He obviously came back in that game, and the NFLPA probably wasn't too happy about it. Neither were a lot of concussion specialists, but I think we fully expect Tua to play. How effective is he going to be? How is he feeling after this injury? And that's what kind of leads me to kind of stay away a little bit from this matchup on the Miami side. And there's the real concerns with them actually covering the spread, being prepared, all these things. It's not that I don't believe in Miami. I love Miami, especially on defense. I think if there's one number I'd be looking at, maybe it's potentially the under, but I think, we could maybe see some fireworks here. So I'm not really all in on that as well. But it's just, there's a lot of things going on in Miami that aren't really within their control, and there's the whole Tua aspect of it all, and Teddy Bridgewater, and we don't want to see him. But I think the one thing that I can expect is Tyreek Hill getting the ball. He only had 2 receptions last game. He had 11 and 8 in the games before that. He's at 5.5 right now, so if you do like that number, I don't mind it. You could go after the yardage, and he could definitely break a big one, but I think he's going to have to get involved early and often, short passes, smaller drag routes, just things to get him the ball in space, the way that Mike McDaniel's has been creative in the past. I think that's how they're going to be able to go over in this matchup. Jalen Waddle, we actually have him projected for an over in his receiving yards as well. 84, I believe, at 67.5 on the books. He's gone over that number both weeks this season. So again, there's a lot of things going on, but I'm just not as confident in the game script and how it's going to play out. So these are kind of bets I'm looking at. I'm looking at Joe Burrow's over rushing yards, Joe Mixon's over receiving yards, and Jamar Chase's receptions. Go make sure you shop those numbers because they may change from the time I'm telling you to go take them. I know for sure that Chase's best number is on FanDuel, and then I forget where the best number is on Mixon and Burrow, but go shop them. Go look to make sure you get the best lines no matter what you're doing all the time. Make sure you're shopping. And as always, if you tail, give them hell. And if we fail, do not bail. You know the drill. It's Thursday. Whatever picks I give you, fade them. Just kidding. Don't fade them. There's the data's behind them, but we have been wildly unsuccessful. We are due for regression. It's going to happen today. Enjoy the game tonight. It's going to be a fun one. Bengals and Dolphins. I think the Dolphins can cover. I think the defense is good enough, but we'll see. Ultimately, it's going to kind of depend on Tua, how he's feeling, but it should be a great game today. Those white helmets are spectacular. I'm excited for it. Win some money tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.